Hello. Right, as promised, I'm looking into, or I've been testing some products for my keyrings that I want to sell. Now, the reason I haven't put them up yet is because I haven't been satisfied with exactly the products that I wanted to put on. Now, I've decided on the top coats. I liked from the video I did before, I liked the Clearport top coat and the DuraClear gloss varnish. I have now found that DuraClear actually do a high gloss rather than just a gloss. So I'm going to compare those in a later video and we're going to see if that gives us an even better finish. But I want to look at curing times and see if it gets harder over time. I'm going to do that to give me an even better top coat finish. But with these, I'm going to seal them all with the DuraClear gloss varnish. So with the keyring trials that I've been doing, I like on some, not all, but I like on some the nice effect you get from doing a glitter background on the one side and then sealing it with the varnish, and then on the other side doing a cricket. This is just a test piece that I did. If you saw my top coat video, I did little bees, little butterflies, not bees, butterflies. I did little silhouette black butterflies. So I tested out a coloured one in a more traditional sort of, the other one was a more cartoon butterfly, this one was a more traditional butterfly. And I wanted to see what it would look like with some embellishments. So I did this glitter. Now, when I do the glitter, if you know me, you know I get covered in glitter. Whenever I use glitter, and I love glitter, but I get covered. It goes everywhere. All over my clothes, all over my surface, all over my floor when I've been doing, and I want to do a few of these at a time, and I'm a bit concerned that I'm going to get absolutely smothered. So I wanted to see if there was an alternative, and I came across, when I was looking at the DecoArt website for the varnishes, I came across these little cuties. Now, I know these are meant for sort of projects for decoupage, for scrapbooking, for people use them for lots and lots of things, on projects, on paper mache, on lots of things, even on wood. But I thought, can we use these on keyrings? Now it says fine glitter, I didn't see, and now this is obviously chunky glitter. I didn't see a chunky glitter version, so it's going to give me a different effect than this. So I'm going to do some tests. One, does it even stick to the acrylic blank, or is it going to do a UV resin on me and peel off? So we'll do them and then I'll try and see if I can scratch it off after. If it does peel off, will it adhere with a layer of glue underneath? Will we need a layer of glue underneath? So if it peels off, we'll do a further test after. I'm going to test it against the blue. I'm going to test against my chunky, because I don't have a fine glue, but I want to see, is the fine as pretty as the chunky, or does it just give a different effect? I'm going to test the fine. I know these aren't quite the same colour, but I'm going to test fine against fine. And we'll just see what the effect is. Now, I'm thinking I'm going to have to stipple it on rather than, because I'm thinking if I paint it on this acrylic, it's just going to kind of wipe off. If you've ever tried to use paint on acrylic, it's just going to sort of smudge. So I'm thinking I'm going to stipple it on. Now I've got a thick stipply brush, this one, or you could sponge it on, but I'm thinking my stipple brush is probably going to hold more, and then it's probably going to take multiple layers, so we'll see. But that's the plan. Yeah, you know me and plans, they don't always go together. So we're going to test it and then we'll come back at the end and see what the effects are and see how cool it is. Okay, let's get going. Hello. Okay, I have a confession to make. This is the third time I've tried to film this. I had a problem with the sound on my camera, and it filmed but had absolutely zero sound at all. I'm not very good at technical stuff. I try really hard, but I'm not very good. So, third time lucky. I'm really sorry. So, I'm going to have to explain to you what I've done, and I'll show you some footage of what I did. So, this nightmare, because I do feel like that this video's turned into a nightmare. Do you ever get like that when you just think, oh? But I'm determined to show you what I've learned from the tests that I've done. But I'm afraid I've put the top coat on now, so yeah. But anyway, I will show you some clippings from the video so you can see what it looks like without the top coat on. So, okay, this is the fine glitter. The fine glitter with 2 coats of fine glitter with just the Mod Podge for backing. Now again, I've got the top coat on now, so you will see it's a little bit flatter, but it's beautiful. This is what I would normally do, very messy, so I was looking to see whether the glitter paint would give us a similar kind of finish. So, how did we get on? I stippled with this one. This has got, and I don't know whether you can see through, this has got about 5 coats. Yep, 5 coats. I'm just swapping my glasses so I can see better, see what you can see. And I don't know whether you can see through that. If you can see through, you can see lots of little sections of like dappled. So when you stipple it on, it goes on, if you've seen from the video, it goes on beautifully when you stipple it on. Gets a better coat. But you then end up with this, because obviously the glitter is suspended in the paint, the nature of that means you get these clumps of glitter. You don't get an even coat. It looks even, then when it dries, it's not even. This is 3 coats. Can you see? This is 5 coats. This is 3 coats. And you still, so you can see the difference between the two, but this is a slightly lighter colour. This is a darker colour. And you can still see 3, which is 3 or 4 coats, you can still see straight through. So even though it's a darker colour, it's not, you haven't got the coverage. So what I did then, although this looks beautiful now because I've varnished it. So what I did, so I thought, right, I haven't got time. This is quicker. This is much quicker doing it with the glitter. It's very messy, but it's quicker. So I don't have time for 5, 6, 8 coats of this to make a beautiful finish. I don't have time. This, okay, this is 8 coats. This, can you see, this has not been top coated, but this is 8 coats. So you have a much more opaque finish. Much more opaque finish. It's flatter, it's more opaque. You can still see, if you hold it up to the light, you can still see a dipply kind of effect, but it's beautiful. The glitter is very fine. It's lovely glitter, but you really need to build up those layers. I don't have time for 8 layers. This is because obviously these are designed to put on top. Normally you might do a layer of paint underneath, that kind of stuff. Bear in mind, we're pushing the boundaries of this. We're trying to make them work on clear glitter, not clear glitter, on acrylic discs. Ooh. And so we're pushing the boundaries of what things can do, but that's what I do. I push the boundaries. That's the whole point. So when you look at 2 coats of glitter, you're putting the glue on and you are packing on that glitter. So you're going to get a more opaque finish. So you're pushing the boundaries of what these can do. So, right, problem solve. What did I do? For this one, I put a stippled, because obviously your things don't just paint on top of a clear acrylic, they tend to smear and smudge. So I stippled to give me a key, because I didn't want a sand. I wanted a beautiful clear. So I stippled a layer of Mod Podge. That gave me a rough, and I let it dry. That gave me a rough key to work from. Then with a smooth flat brush, I then painted on nice and smooth layer of the paint, and I did about I'm trying to think how many layers I did now, 'cause it's been that long since I started the video. I think this one only had about three coats, and I have a much lighter finish. And if I look up to the light, if you look through there, it's lighter. As it gets darker, the colour gets darker as you put more layers on. So it's a lighter finish. But you don't have, if you look, you do have, obviously you can see, there's a separate, you can see glitter particles where the glitter paint is. You can see the particles of paint, you can see the particles of glitter. You can see through it there, but it is so much more even. And so it is a finish that I would consider nice. I would look at that and go, oh, look at all those particles. It is a clear, consistent, even finish. You don't get these clumps. So you don't get the clumps. So I would consider that an even finish, and I would be happy with that. This is the chunky glitter. We have two chunky glitters. So obviously the chunkier the glitter, this one's not been varnished. Look, this one has been varnished. So when you varnish, you do subdue a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit of the glitter. So with the chunky, obviously that gives you a much different effect than the fine, but it depends on what you're looking for. I haven't seen this in a chunky. I'm not saying they don't do it in a chunky, but I haven't seen it in a chunky. But it depends on what you're going for. So I really like working with these. They're really nice. If I was to lay out and do 10 key rings on a pop, and I would not do it this way, stippling. I wouldn't do it. It didn't work for me. So if I was to stipple all with glue and then go across and coat them all, and then leave them for half an hour and then coat them all again, then yeah, I might use this. It's certainly less messy than the glitter method. If I needed to be quick, I would still use my tip it all on there glitter method. But if I did 10 key rings in tipping it all on, oh my gosh, I would be covered. So if I needed to do 1 or 2, I might use this method. If I needed to do 10, I might use this method. So it definitely has a place. I definitely like it for that. So then what I went ahead and did in the video, which I will show you, now, me applying this varnish. If you followed me with the varnish, the top coat video I did, I liked the clear pour top coat and this one. I'll insert that now, and then I'll come back and show you the results. Okay, so hopefully, if I can re-amalgamate this video, you've just watched me apply the top coat. Now, one thing I'm going to say first, I did a test on this, the one that I did like about 8 layers on. And what I did was I just used my knife and scratched away, tried to scratch away the top surface of the paint. What I wanted to see was if we get that dreaded separation that we get with UV resin when we apply them to an acrylic blank. And if you were to apply UV resin to this and then cure it, and you would pop your knife down the centre, you could pop that UV resin off in one go. So I wanted to see whether that would happen, because quite often when you apply products to these clear acrylic blanks, they're so beautifully shiny that things don't adhere to the top. So if you can see where I've scratched it there, it did not come off. I really scratched it and it did not come off. It did not peel. I scratched some off, look, but I could not. I'd have to sit there and real scrape and scrape and scrape. So that passed the test. I was very happy with that. The products do not separate from the clear acrylic blanks, so I'm really happy with that. That means I can go ahead and use it on my keyrings without worrying that they're going to come off. Okay, so I applied a nice thick clear layer. I say clear, it is clear. Thick layer of the DuraGloss varnish top coat with just with my brush. I'm trying to think now which I was trying to show you which brush I used. So what happened? Okay, what I'm looking for is that we don't have any separation, peeling, bubbling or cloudy finish. That would tell me that the two products I'm using, now they're both DecoArt, but it doesn't mean they're compatible because they make lots of products. That would tell me that the two products I'm using have a chemical reaction and that they're not compatible with each other. And I want to test them now rather than get on and make a beautiful keyring, put it on and then it have a reaction. Now these have been done, because I've had so much problems with my video, these have now been done a week. And I've kept looking and there has been no reaction. So that is great. I know I'm safe to use the two products together, no reaction. So the finish. So on the fine glitter, the normal glitter, I used this one, and then for the chunky glitter I used the Hemway. So for the fine glitter, I can still feel texture. I'm not getting any come off of my hands. I haven't had any residue. It's seeped in there. It's gone on beautifully. I haven't had any issues, but I can still feel that texture. So if you want to still see texture on your keyring, that is the way to go. On the chunky glitter now, can you see the chunky glitter has had, and I'm surprised, I would have thought I would have had more of a textured feeling on the chunky glitter. It does feel textured, but this one is a fine texture and this one feels more smooth in a funny kind of way, because the gloss has penetrated through this, whereas this, because it's so chunky, it's lay on the top. So these are just finishes to bear in mind. Still the same. Have had no peeling, no nothing. It's sealed it all in. I've had no glitter come off, so that's worked really well. The glitter paint, which is the one that I'm really interested in, it has left this beautiful finish. I can't feel any texture at all. It's slightly ripply in the fact that underneath you can see that it's got little undulations where obviously the glitter paint has been there. So if I wanted a pure glass finish, I'd do another coat. But to be honest, I think it's actually quite sweet. It's quite nice. It shows me a little bit of texture, but you can't feel, it's really weird. You can see the texture, but you can't really feel it. So it all depends on personal preference. And when you were using it, you just have to, sorry, move those over there, you can't see. You would just have to see what you thought. But I'm very pleased that there's been no reaction. So the products, these, I'm very happy with them. I will get some more colours. I will just play around with them and see the best results, if there's any another application, best results that I can get out of them. But I'm quite happy using the glue and using the stippling the glue on and painting it over the top. That so far has been the best method. Now I did find some other products while I was shopping on the DecoArt website. I found some iridescent top coats and I found some shimmer top coats. Now these obviously again are designed to be used on sort of scrapbooking, on projects with woodworks and things like that, on any sort of, you know, craft projects and things like that. Stretching the boundaries using them on the clear blanks, but that's what I do. So we will do some testing of these like this and we'll see how they work, and we might even use the products together and see if we can get some even weirder, wackier ideas. I'm very sorry I've had to do this all over again and the video is a bit of a mishmash, but I hope it all makes sense. I hope you enjoyed watching, and yeah, if these are something you would like, this is not sponsored or affiliated or anything like that. I just like to find projects, push the boundaries and show you guys what I have learned, and you know, and you might want to do that too.